All right, we're good to go.
All right, perfect. So it is 3:01 p.m. on February 12th of 2021, and I'm really happy to call this meeting to order. Congratulations on finishing week 3 to our students. I hope you guys are all doing well. We do have the Wellness Day coming up on Wednesday, so I hope that everyone's able to unplug for a little bit from technology. I know we're all experiencing Zoom fatigue, so I hope everyone's able to enjoy that break for a little bit.
Can you say what it is a little bit slower? I didn't get what it was.
Yes, I'm sorry. Miami has our first Wellness Day, our first Health and Wellness Day coming up on Wednesday. Okay. So it's a day where no classes are to be scheduled.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I hope everyone's able to enjoy that. And then getting started, I will hear a motion to approve the agenda for today.
I move we approve the agenda.
I second.
Wonderful. And then could I also hear another motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting from January 29th?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second that motion.
Wonderful. All right, so everything has been approved. So we can go ahead to reports if Laura wants to make the OPD report.
Hey, Emily, can we finish that vote?
Oh, I'm so sorry. All in favor, please say yay.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
And all opposed. I apologize. Thank you everyone for bearing with me. So then now moving on to reports, if Laura would like to make that report.
I can. Sorry, I'm on the road again, like I was one of the other times that we met. I think everything's going well. I've gotten some questions about the curfew being lifted, and I don't think it's really affected us much. It has been a little bit busier, but I think weather and maximum capacity at the bars have helped with the capacity uptown. And winter weather is an issue, and we cited 216 cars earlier this week for parking on the snow emergency route. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go push out social media posts for anticipated winter weather on Monday, and we will try to get ahead of it and let people know. And so that will be a big quality of life issue on Monday if that comes. Other than that, it's just there's just nothing significant, no trending crime.
Great, thank you, Laura.
Laura, are you still doing the Facebook post that has such great acclaim? I haven't seen one myself lately.
Well, because I haven't done it since probably this early summer. Just probably hasn't been the right climate. It's a lot of work to do those posts, and every word gets poured over, and I just don't think, I think my job would have been made a lot harder the last several months if we had kept that post going, because I don't think we could have ever said anything right. So we'll just let things continue to calm down in society a little bit more, and then we will revisit it maybe in the fall.
Thank you. Understand, and we don't want your job to be harder.
All right. And then is there anyone here from MUPD to make a report? Not seeing anyone. All right. All right. We can go ahead to my updates then. I don't really have a lot today, just from the COVID-19 ad hoc committee. If you all got the weekly email that I sent out, there is a spreadsheet in that to sign up for a slot to come into the COVID-19 ad hoc meetings. It's a committee that I sit on, as well as Trey Petrella, who is here with us our last meeting. and then some other senators and secretaries in ASG. And so we've opened up the last 30 minutes of our meeting to hear from anyone who has a concern or question about COVID-19 that they would like to direct to us, so that the committee can look into it or answer any questions that you have. So if you're interested in signing up for a slot, we'll be doing that the rest of the year at our meetings. So the spreadsheet will still be up and running. So if you ever have a question, then feel free to schedule a slot. And then other updates from the COVID-19 ad hoc committee. We're just working right now on some issues with overcrowding and then making sure that signage is posted and that people are understanding of the expectations that the university has put out and the guidelines for being in the public facilities. And then another update from me is, as I mentioned, this Wednesday is our first Health and Wellness Day. The university has put on programming for these days. And so you can find all of the programming information on the Health and Wellness Days part of the Miami site, if you would like to be involved or explore that at all. And then another quick update that isn't on the agenda, but we're welcoming a new member to the commission, Rebecca Baudry-Young. Yeah, I see her here with us today. So she's taking the seat of Miami's Health and Wellness Administrator or designee. So if Rebecca, if you would like to introduce yourself to everyone, we're so happy to welcome you to the commission.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm the director for the Office of Student Wellness. I've also been a member of the Coalition for a Healthy Community Oxford area for 10 years. And I've been in Miami for 10 years. And so I look forward to being your liaison on things that are health and wellness related. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're so happy to have you joining us, Rebecca. And then that's all the updates from me, and we don't have any old business, so we can just go ahead into our new business. So since we've decided on our objectives, one of them being community health and wellness initiatives for the rest of the semester, I wanted our meetings to be more collaborative workshop types of sessions. Since we only get to see all of each other bi-weekly, I wanted more group feedback and more collaborative meetings. So I just kind of wanted us to all have a dialogue today about what's been going well, what could be improved, just anything pertaining to community health and wellness, so that we can kind of get some ideas going for ways to improve that, as well as just any feedback that anyone has about community health and wellness in general. So I'd just like to open the floor up for discussion on that, if people want to raise their hands. Oh, whoops, sorry. Yeah, Zoe.
Hello. So I was wondering if we could just, for like the people that may not be super familiar with like the university structure, like could Rebecca maybe give us a little info on like, I guess what falls under her domain, just so that when we have questions, we can make sure they're relevant.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So Dr. Steve Large is the Assistant Vice President for Health and Wellness and Student Life. And he oversees a cluster of folks that have mission-related topics. So for example, Dr. John Ward is the Director for Student Counseling Service, and Terry Bazell is a Medical Director for this Tri-Health Health Clinic. And then I'm the Director for Student Wellness. And our three areas work closely together, and we report to the AVP for Health and Wellness. Within my scope of work from our office, we do a lot of peer education. So if you've heard of HAWKS, which are the Health Advocates for Wellness, Knowledge, and Skills, they do a lot of peer-to-peer programming on campus. And the topics that they typically will address are around alcohol use, drug use, sexual health, sexual interpersonal violence prevention, and some positive mental health or mental health hygiene type topics. They also do a lot of other programming, but those are the ones that we get the most requests for and we do the most work on. They also do the Step Up Bystander Intervention training. So our office is oversees how that rolls out throughout our communities on campus. So the first year students and the first year seminar classes get the bystander intervention training, as well as our Greek new members and athletes. So we do some work with different populations on campus that kind of take it to the next level. We also do the mandatory education. So if all of our new students coming to Miami are required to take online courses, one is called Alcohol EDU, which looks at alcohol and other substances. There's another one that's called Sexual Assault Prevention for undergraduates. And a third one that's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion module. So we are the administrators for that education and to make sure that everyone is in compliance and they complete that before they come to Miami. We also do sanctioned education. So if a student has a violation for an alcohol or drug related offense to the Miami Student Code of Conduct, we do step one of the education that they would receive as part of their sanctioning process. We work with the Coalition for Healthy Community Oxford area. So we also do some community work and some work with Oxford organizations and businesses, really just trying to promote health positive messaging and create an environment where the healthiest choice is the easiest choice, as Amy Masechko so proudly says, and makes me happy every time I hear it. So we partner closely with her. Some of the other partners that we work with, Oxford Police Department, we work closely with the Miami Police Department and our Title IX directors and deputy directors and the Dean of Students Office. And we partner with a lot of other folks on Miami just to offer consultation services around health and wellness topics if they decide that they would like to do some initiatives of their own. We're always happy to kind of weigh in and help them be successful in that type of programming. So that's what we do.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful. That's what I was guessing you were kind of on that side of it, but I wanted to make sure. And I feel like your perspective will be so useful with a lot of the things we're talking about, especially with like community initiatives for prevention.
Great.
Well, yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Does anyone else have anything to add to our community health and wellness discussion? About anything that's been going well? Oh, Zoe, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, so Emily, you probably know this, but for everyone else, so I know with testing compliance right now, that's been a big issue on campus, and obviously they're putting in like their stricter protocols and starting to enforce it a bit more, but definitely concerns around Greek life and the way that's impacting the community at large with testing especially. And just like all of the students, but specifically with Rush going on, I was just wondering if anyone has thoughts on steps we could take to help, I guess, prevent those members of our Miami community from going out into the larger community and potentially spreading COVID, because I'm guessing the cases are going to be rising.
Yeah, thank you, Zoe, for your thoughts. Yeah, compliance is something that we've talked about extensively in ways that we could improve compliance. If anyone has any thoughts on that as well, I'd be more than welcome to hear them.
Well, I know I could chime in a little bit, and Kyle could also chime in if he wants to. So I know from the recruitment side, the majority of it was virtual, but now that we're in the new member period, yes, we're going to have people going back and forth. And a week into it, 10 days into it, there is a lot of it that is virtual, but there is the in-person stuff. So I think we're getting the message out there. We're educating the chapters, we're educating members on what the policies are, on what the expectations are. And we will have a challenge for those that choose not to listen to us or that are going to go out and have big events. But so far, and we're just 4 days into it, I guess, three days into it. We haven't seen, or at least haven't been reported, or I haven't heard of mass large gatherings. But I also think that we can't drop our guard across the entire campus and just say, hey, we're not out of the woods yet. We need to do this. But I know that Kyle, I know his counterparts at MPC and MPHC have been giving those messages the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was just wondering, like Kyle too, I'd love to hear if there's anything we can help with just being proactive with all of that, because hopefully like it won't be as much of an issue but if there's anything we can do to contribute, especially those of us in like student orgs that have a decent amount of reach too.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that anyone can do really is just if you see something, say something. Don't hesitate at all to reach out to me or my Panhellenic counterpart or anyone really on the executive team would be more than willing to sit down and talk about like what's going on, or even if it's like 12:30 and somebody's having a party or something that you saw, just give me a call, give me an email, whatever you need to do to get in contact to try and help that chapter that's making a bad choice make better choices moving forward and to punish if need be. But similar to what Scott was saying, we are currently it almost feels like a week in to the new member education process, because most chapters stopped giving out bids last Wednesday. So a little bit over a week in to the new member education process, and we haven't had any reports of large mass gatherings. We haven't had too many issues with like things getting reported or sent in the majority of the cases. There were a couple, like trash issues at some of the houses and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just kind of to be expected. Sometimes there's always going to be issues and things that come up. And we're definitely looking to react to those in an appropriate manner. Maybe Laura could help on that. I'm not sure if it's Miami side or more Oxford PD side, but I haven't heard of any large mass gatherings so far this semester, really.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you for all that you're doing.
And I'll piggyback too. So Zoe, so part of, and I think Rebecca would agree, part of other students and other student orgs across the board, it helps to reiterate the message that you hear from Student Life, from Miami. So peer to peer hearing that, I truly believe has a greater impact than it does hearing it from myself or Rebecca or Steve Large. So the more student leaders and student roles are saying, hey, these are the expectations, these are what we expect, I believe it has a bigger impact. So the more ASG can do, the more DAC can do, the more you name the group can do, that help is always appreciated.
Yeah, I completely agree. And another important thing is, as a Greek community, we'll be sending out a memo to all of the Greek students here this weekend, kind of detailing what exactly the guidelines are right now. And if you think of something else that I should add to it, please let me know. But right now it's going to be a reminder of the state and Miami guidelines, and encouragement for hand washing, hygiene, wearing masks, and all of that. And then we're also going to be reminding them of the programming guidelines, as well as talking to them about going in for testing and how that has changed since last semester. So for those who don't know, last semester, there wasn't really a punishment for not going in to get tested. And this semester, if you miss 2 tests, your correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe your like Miami card, student ID doesn't like let you into pretty much anywhere. You're pretty much homeless if you don't go get tested, and people don't know that, so like maybe a freshman's just assuming that he can get away with it for 2 times, and it turns out he's gonna get locked out of a lot of places. And then also reinforcing just wearing masks and the proper guidelines for the Panhellenic women who are in dorms right now.
Yes, Steve.
Kyle, could you please reinforce the need to wear masks uptown? I know, I know it's really onerous for OPD to have to worry about that. I'm not asking them to, but I think once again, it goes back to a student-to-student message. Even when somebody's walking alone, if they're uptown, they really need to be wearing their mask.
I completely agree, and we will be reiterating that in the memo.
Steve, can I offer something on that?
Sure.
So you got to read the ordinance. So about the mask requirements. I would just encourage everybody to read that, because if you're wanting us to enforce something that is where a person is alone and they are perfectly distanced from other people, we can't enforce that. So what it is like, if you're in line, you have to wear a mask. If you are within, going to be within 6 foot of another person that is not a household member while outside, then you would have to wear a mask. But generally, and people can walk together if they're household members and be within that 6 foot distance. So what we have to work with is the law. It's not just like, not everybody uptown has to wear a mask. I'm not discouraging that by any stretch of the imagination, but don't expect us to be enforcing it.
No,
when it doesn't fit within the law.
I hope you heard me say I don't think it's your job to deal with this all of the time, but I do believe that students can encourage other students to do it all of the time, because you can very rarely be 6 feet, or people that I see without masks don't care whether they're within 6 feet of somebody else if they're walking by themselves and talking on their phone or whatever. So my point is just that if students were to encourage other students to wear masks uptown, especially when they're walking on the uptown streets, it would be positive. And then it would also mean that you guys would have to worry less about whether an infraction has occurred, because I don't think it's a good use of your time.
Yeah, I completely agree. And another thing that might be pertinent to mention is IFC, or the Greek community, is pairing with some members in ASG, to the Associated Student Government, to it's really just in the works right now, but we're trying to put it together. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to have about 20 volunteers, maybe more like 15, but they'll be using those like black Miami masks, and we have a bunch left over, so they're going to take a bunch of those black Miami masks, and volunteers are going to go out in pairs of 2 or 3, and basically just wander around High Street trying to find people who aren't wearing masks and be able to give them to them. And we're looking to do that during like the hotspot time. So like, probably like 7 to midnight or 1 or 2 on like, like Thursday through Saturday, as well as the days before wellness days, because we also anticipate those being days where a lot of students will be uptown.
Yeah, thank you.
Kyle,
And thank you for
I was gonna say, Kyle, if you run out, let me know. Katie Wilson and I both have some
I heard
boxes
there's
of those things.
a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you run out, let me know.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, and then thank you, Kyle. Yeah, I'll elaborate on that. So ASG and Greek Life have partnered with the city of Oxford on a mask ambassadorship program. So as Kyle mentioned, there will be small groups of students in pairs of 2 or 3 that walk along like the hot spots uptown on weekend nights to distribute masks, since it's like a peer encouragement is way more positive. And then, doing our part as student volunteers to really encourage mask wearing uptown. So we're really excited about that. It should start here like early March, mid-March, and then go through the rest of the year during those hotspot times when the weather gets warmer and people are frequenting uptown a lot more. So we're hoping that that'll be a very positive thing. And then we're really excited to be working with Greek Life on that as well. So thank you for the concern, Steve. Does anyone else have anything?
We sidetracked a little bit there from the original conversation.
Well, in terms of health issues, the senior center is slammed with people who are trying to get our assistance to get into the vaccine lines. And finally, last evening, I got a message from the county health commissioner saying that they had a drive-through clinic for people 65 and older at the fairgrounds in Hamilton today. and they were left with many vacancies. So we helped get 12 to 14 people lined up between 8 a.m. and they were only open until 11:30. So she's promised me that she would let us know this earlier in the future, because we have a list of probably 80 people, 65 and older, that grows every day. The other thing that we're doing, and this is interesting for students, AARP has always done free income tax preparation here, and it is not an age-limited thing. They feel it's discriminatory to have an age limit. So anyone who needs free income tax preparation can sign up for this. We've normally served, 500, 600 people in a tax season. The season has been extended. They won't begin to schedule appointments until March 1st when our building reopens. And they're requiring that you get on the list that we are keeping right now at Oxford Seniors. And when they are going to provide a packet of information that you have to find all of the documents and bring them in. When you have the documents, you call us back, we set you up with an appointment when they just review everything and verify your identity. And then they put the papers in quarantine for a while. Then they prepare them with their trained volunteers, and then they'll call you back for a second interview to review their findings and sign off on the form. So it's going to be a much longer and complicated process, serving only 25 people a week. But we feel that the extended deadline for filing is going to be the saving grace on this.
Great, thank you, Steve. Then does anyone else have anything on community health and wellness? Sorry, I lost the participants list for a second. Something that ASG's noticed that's been going really well is university communication with students. We really like the communication pertaining to COVID-19 updates that the university has taken on. And then something else that we've made note of is how quickly and responsive the university has been to COVID testing. We're testing a lot of people every day, and it's been very effective at keeping our numbers down, which is what we're trying to do here. So that's something that's also been very positive.
And from the community perspective, it's so exciting to hear that there aren't the numbers that were happening on the Miami campus. So good job, everybody.
Yeah, Zoe, sorry.
Wait, oh, sorry. Okay, this isn't related to like my position as DSA president, but something I know about from like another board I'm on is St. Mary's is reopening on Sunday. So just for people to be aware that there will be a lot of people around there, likely they're doing like registration and being very careful, but that will definitely, I think, have a small impact on the number of people uptown. So just something to be aware of.
And then I see Kathy's hand.
Yeah, we're obviously incredibly focused on COVID for a very good reason, but I'm just wondering if are there any issues that maybe we're overlooking because we are so focused on COVID? Is there anything anybody's heard, or is there concern?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Kathy.
Hunger issues and homelessness with appropriate shelter, but thank goodness there's been some specialized cold shelter provided this year, and the extra funding to help in overload. But the bottom line is that homelessness exists in Oxford. And the Housing Advisory Commission has just finished a housing study of the kinds of needs that there are in the community, and that's available at the city's website. It touches on the homelessness issue, And, of course, then that leads into all sorts of other health concerns and access to health services and whether or not there's health insurance for the people who are homeless. But the food insecurity issue continues, so any assistance from the campus to provide donations to the TOPS food pantry in terms of food drives or financing. And they are still waiting on the completion of the delivery van that they were funded through CARES Act monies to purchase that will be shared with the Uptown Market.
Great,
Hey,
thank you, Steve.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask
No,
Steve,
go ahead.
what's like if organizations want to do something to help TOPS, what's more effective? Like, is it food or is it just like direct financial support?
I would say whatever is easiest for the participant. What Ann Fuhrer, well, first of all, I would suggest that you speak directly to her. But one of the things that I thought was funny recently is she says is everybody thinks of buying Kraft macaroni and cheese, but that doesn't create a balanced diet. So at one point, Kiwanis focused on getting cans of tuna and jars of peanut butter. And I think there was one other thing. But finances gives them the ability to fill in other things. She's very accessible and knows her business much better than I do.
I'll toss in too. I mean, one of the things that helps at certain times during the year is just physical help. So there are times when they get a lot of stuff in where if a student org or 10 or 15 people go and help them organize it, it makes the world of difference for the staff there.
Yeah, we can definitely put that out there with student orgs, and ASG can definitely put that out there as a volunteer opportunity.
And I know that Ann is really concerned about they're scheduling the folks. So I don't know that a group project would work, but a sequential day of volunteers who might be there an hour or two at a time could really be very helpful.
And then Andrew, I saw your hand up. Oh, Andrew, you're muted.
Strange. I definitely hit that button, promise you. This question is probably for Rebecca, if she's still with us, or maybe Scott. How is student counseling services, how are they holding up with demand? And is there a big backlog? Because I've heard two students and one person at Miami just in the last few days have been concerned about it.
Sure. So I can take that. I'm sorry. I was just trying to eat a bite of my lunch. So I turned off the video so that you wouldn't see me
I apologize.
In any event, so student counseling service has recently been given a gift from some donors that help us when we have peak times to avoid a wait list. So what happens is we have PRN therapists that are able to pitch in during those peak times. So we're actually functioning at a much higher rate to be able to serve the needs for the students. So we don't have any wait lists right now. If you call and need an appointment, you can usually get one within 1 to 2 days for your initial assessment. And then we also have found that the telebehavioral health, the online counseling has been very popular among students. So we've been able to expand our ability to offer the telehealth as well. So that's been really important. And then we have our Hope line, which is a 24/7 line. So students can access that line at any time and be connected to a therapist immediately. And so we want to make sure that students are aware of the Hope line too. So we're in pretty good shape headed into this semester, but we do recognize that there has been an increase in demand, and mostly that's around anxiety and depression. And there's lots of wonderful workshops that the student counseling service is also offering to students. One particular one that is really good is the Coping with COVID workshop. And that really addresses some of that anxiety that is that students are experiencing because of all the changes around COVID and so forth.
You know, the other thing I'll add on, just without seeing the comment, Andrew, was that the counseling and Rebecca's office have both moved locations. So if it was somebody that was physically looking for them, that building's no longer there, but there's plenty of signage. So if that was the case, that whole Rebecca counseling, health and wellness, everything's moved.
Oh,
The new location for counseling and the health clinic are in the Harris Dining Hall. It's been renovated to this gorgeous space. So over in Harris, you can see it off of Chestnut. You know, it's back there in that area.
Yeah, and then Prue, I see your hand.
okay. I wanted to announce that there's the PUFF, that's PUFF, Memorial Lecture, Christian Approaches to Homelessness. They're having a speaker March 3, 7 o'clock. And if you look at any of the websites, there will be, it's a virtual presentation. And so I just would like to point out the person who's coming is going to speak about homelessness and let's see where it is. Homelessness and social justice. And you will see more posters on that, but you can put that down on your list right now.
It's part of the business school's social innovations weekend.
Okay, it's part of the business school's social innovation weekend. So you'll see it on that too. There it is.
Great, thank you.
There's a speaker, and I think I am not sure if she will just do it virtually or if she'll be speaking part of it.
It's virtual.
But you'll find out. I heard different today.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Prue. And then does anyone else have any other feedback on any of the wellness and community health initiatives we talked about? Or any other observations from either Miami's side or Oxford's side? All right, yeah, I'm not seeing any more hands. So yeah, does anyone have any other comments about initiatives we could work on? Any more ways that we could put these resources out for students? Another issue of the community newsletter will be coming out in a couple weeks. So if there are any other resources, the Hope Line is already included, as well as links to all of Miami's health and wellness services. So if anyone else has any other resources that they think would be valuable to include.
How do we make recommendations for inclusion on that? I'm sorry.
Oh, if you just let me know.
Okay.
Or just, yeah, you can just say it now if you have a recommendation for that.
I'm not sure. I maybe have to look more at what you already have so I'm not duplicative.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, feel free to let me know if you guys ever have any thoughts about anything. Just shoot me an email or a text.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then, yeah, since that was the only thing that I wanted us to cover today, to just have a conversation about what we've seen and observed with community health and wellness initiatives, just so that we could have more ideas as a commission moving forward and pursuing this as one of our objectives. So if no one else has any other thoughts on that, then we can go ahead and move into general announcements. If anyone has anything that they would like to let the group know. Yeah, Zoe, go ahead.
So Diversity Affairs Council is really looking to like shake some things up. We're doing a bit of a restructure, and so I'm really hoping that we can look more into not only like how does the community serve the communities we represent and serve marginalized students, but also how can we, like, how are we having an impact and what role are we playing and what can we do in Oxford. So if anyone has ideas, you know, for example, like if there's something with the senior center that you need support with, that you'd be looking for students, like let us know, because we are connected with a lot of groups and would love to do that.
Great, thank you, Zoe. That's awesome. Oh yeah, Steve, go ahead.
Well, Zoe, right off of the bat, you know, we always look for people to help with Meals on Wheels delivery, which is a midday commitment of about 2 hours. Often, you know, somebody doesn't necessarily have to have a car because they could ride along with one of our other volunteers who is driving. But and the running, especially in bad weather, running to the door is dangerous for many of our older clientele. A snow shoveling crew would be a super resource where people could ask for that assistance, or we could match people somehow, and not necessarily through Oxford Seniors, but you know, any creative way to assist with that. How many times have you parked uptown and you have to climb over that little mound, which is icy as hell, to get to the sidewalk that is cleaned off? You know, I think that's one of the biggest dangers. So, you know, having the ice chippers group that would just automatically take care of those main couple of blocks uptown to make sure. And if a business is closed, like Wild Bistro has been closed, so the sidewalk is not cleaned in front of that area. That's just a couple of off the top thoughts.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a general announcement to make? All right, I'm not seeing any more hands, so I guess we'll be out of here early this Friday afternoon. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn if anyone would like to make that motion.
So move.
Thank you, Prue.
Second that motion.
Meeting. When is the next meeting?
The next meeting is pulling on my calendar. It's 2 weeks from today. Okay. So February the 26th.
Okay.
So yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Students, again, I hope you guys are able to enjoy the Wellness Day. And then to all our community members, I look forward to seeing you guys at the next meeting. Feel free to reach out to me in the meantime if you have any questions or concerns about anything, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. So thank you everyone for your participation.